Welcome to My Irish Radio Music and Culture News, your connection to everything happening in the world of Irish music and culture. I'm Jamie Flanagan. Each episode will share the latest news from Ireland's vibrant music scene, from traditional and folk to rebel ballads, pub tunes, Celtic rock, and today's top Irish pop. We'll also bring you updates on festivals, cultural events, and people keeping Irish heritage alive around the world. And remember, My Irish Radio is more than just a station. It's your community, your soundtrack, your voice. You can listen 24/7 at myirishradio.com and through the links in the podcast description below. Here's the best part. You can be part of it. Host your very own show on My Irish Radio. Choose your playlist, share your stories, make My Irish Radio your Irish Radio. Let's get into what's happening this week in Irish music and culture.
Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We have a whole stack of sources here detailing recent happenings across Ireland.
Yeah.
And we're going to extract the most important insights for you. The surprising facts, the big shifts and everything from, music to some high-stakes legal rulings.
It's a fantastic snapshot, really. What's so remarkable, I think, about this material is how it just shows modern Ireland as this place of vibrant tension.
Tension, that's a good word for it.
It is. You see global fame mixing with ancient heritage and really immediate political confrontation being processed through art.
Okay, so we're going to cut through the noise and organize these nuggets into three core things for you. First, the new sound waves, then cultural identity on screen, and finally, we'll get into the essential shifts in legal frameworks and historical preservation.
Sounds good.
So let's jump right in. Let's start where the rhythm is loudest, the music calendar.
Okay, so if you want to understand the state of Irish music right now, you really don't have to look much further than the headliners for Electric Picnic 2026.
Right.
The announcement that Fontaines D.C. and Gorillaz will take the top spots. I mean, that perfectly illustrates the duality of the scene at the moment.
It really does. You have Gorillaz, this, massive international animated entity.
A global phenomenon.
A global phenomenon sharing the stage with Fontaines D.C., who are, they're arguably one of the most vital, critically acclaimed bands to come out of Dublin in the last decade.
Absolutely. And it's a real statement, isn't it? It's about blending that huge international appeal with this incredibly intense, homegrown talent.
Yeah. And that duality doesn't just exist at the top of the charts, because while the global acts are getting booked, we're also seeing traditional talent making these major inroads internationally.
Right, like Caden and Diarmuid O'Meara. They're taking their very specific brand of traditional music on a U.S. tour.
And not just anywhere. They're hitting major cultural hubs in New York, Maryland, Virginia, Massachusetts.
Which just shows that the traditional backbone, it remains so strong, but it's also actively looking for new international audiences. It's not static.
It's not just about touring, though. This is where the new releases get really interesting, because they show how current events are being reflected in the music almost immediately.
Okay.
We have to talk about the hip-hop trio Kneecap.
Yes, we do. Their new single, a collaboration with the producer, Sub Focus.
Yeah.
This is a critical piece of the news stack.
Why so critical?
Because that new single, it deals directly with a terrorism case involving one of the band members, Mo Chara. I mean, that is a radically high-stakes form of cultural commentary.
It's not just an abstract idea.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
They aren't just singing about political issues in general. They're confronting these, complex legal and state apparatus issues through the medium of a high-profile modern collaboration.
That's such a bold choice, and it just signals this refusal to separate art from political reality. And speaking of unique combinations, we also have Mr. Sister, who dropped a new single with the frankly unforgettable title, Cypherance Socrates.
That title alone just tells you everything you need to know about the current creative environment, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's irreverent, it's intellectual, and it's completely genre-bending. It's the perfect encapsulation of the kind of creative fusion happening right now. You're mixing ancient philosophy with hyper-modern electronic sounds.
So beyond the avant-garde, the sources did confirm a few other important movements. We've got Lily Allen announcing a major Dublin show for June 2026.
And David Keenan is getting ready for an Irish tour to support a new album.
Right. And let's not forget the enduring popular appeal of traditional holiday music.
Of course. Celtic Woman has a new seasonal offering, the album No Leg, A Christmas Journey.
And that just reminds us that while the scene is embracing the radical, it is also highly effective at, preserving successful traditional formulas.
They both exist at the same time.
Exactly. One last lovely detail on the music front was the collaboration between the Swinford harpist Alana Thornburg and the trad group Vero.
Ah, I saw that. It's a beautiful way to innovate while still respecting heritage, isn't it? Blending a solo master instrument with a full group arrangement.
It's that kind of unexpected synergy that keeps the whole landscape so fresh.
And we should probably just quickly note the foundational stuff that supports this whole ecosystem, like Oisin Leach's solo headline show at Whelan's in Dublin in November.
Or the DOG trad folk performance at the IMRO Other Room.
Yeah, as part of OV 2025, these smaller events, they're the proving ground, right? They're where the next Fontaines D.C. and the next Kneecap get their start.
Okay, so let's move from that dynamic soundscape to the cultural screen.
You're listening to My Irish Music and Culture News, brought to you by My Irish Radio, streaming the best in Irish and Celtic music all day, every day. From classic jigs and reels to the latest Irish rock and pub favorites, we celebrate the sound of Ireland worldwide. Want to be more than a listener? Be a host. Share your love for the Irish music by hosting your own show on My Irish Radio. It's easy to get started. Just send us an email, myirishradio@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can listen 24/7 at myirishradio.com. Make My Irish Radio your Irish radio.
Okay, so let's move from that dynamic soundscape to the cultural screen, where we're finding a huge amount of attention being paid to how Ireland is represented globally.
Right.
And we have to start with the new period drama that's already generating some massive buzz, House of Guinness.
Okay, this is truly the aha moment for anyone who's looking for that next major television event.
Go on.
The show is described as a blend of family drama and dark humor, but the real insight provided in our sources, the key, is how it's being pitched.
The comparison.
It's being pitched as a cross between Downton Abbey and Succession.
That is just a brilliant comparison. Downton Abbey gives you the period setting, the hierarchy, the scale of generational wealth.
All of that, yes.
But adding the Succession dynamic implies ruthless internal power struggles, sharp modern dialogue, and probably some morally ambiguous characters.
Exactly. It just elevates it immediately from costume drama to a high-stakes, multi-generational saga. It signals a shift in how Irish history and industry are being portrayed.
It's not just pastoral nostalgia.
No, it's about power, it's about money, and it's about the dark consequences of maintaining a dynasty.
And while that project is looking at global business on screen, Irish visual arts are also getting global recognition.
Yeah, the NUA Collective had its London debut, a show called Under the Same Sky. And Culture Ireland is actively supporting Irish artists at major international events like Womex 2024.
That institutional backing is just so crucial for cultural export, isn't it?
It's vital. And that support connects directly to efforts to bolster cultural identity at home, particularly the Irish language revival.
Okay, what did the sources say about that?
They highlighted the significance of the hope tied to Catherine Connolly's recent appointment as a new socialist president figure.
And the suggestion is that this will lead to a stronger political focus on boosting Gaelge in public life.
Precisely. Because the effort to revive Gaelge, it often struggles without high-level political champions.
So having a senior political figure known for strong socialist principles actively promoting the language, that adds some serious momentum.
It adds institutional weight. It suggests future policy moves might actively favor the promotion and use of Irish across public bodies.
Before we transition fully to law and history, we do have to pause on one truly horrific historical anecdote that was flagged in the sources.
I know the one you mean.
A new documentary detailing the alleged story of an Irish laborer who was buried alive for 61 days.
It's just a staggering, gut-wrenching piece of history that's now being brought back into the public sphere.
And what does that say about now?
Well, it highlights the kind of dark, sometimes hidden histories of hardship that modern Irish documentaries are now seeking to uncover. It's part of a necessary and often very difficult national conversation about previous generations and the brutal conditions they sometimes faced.
Okay. So let's move from that cultural history to legal and physical preservation. Because if culture defines the present, then heritage and law, they define the framework for the future.
And we have some seriously important shifts happening in this space.
Where should we start?
Let's start with preservation and heritage. The Moravian village of Gracehill in Antrim has officially been granted UNESCO World Heritage status. This is massive.
So why is that status for Grace Hill so vital? What does it actually do?
Well, it provides international validation for the history of the Moravian Church in Ireland, which is a really unique religious and cultural community.
And it's not just about tourism.
No, not at all. UNESCO status guarantees funding and robust protection measures. It ensures that this specific, significant historical architecture is preserved for centuries. It elevates local history to global importance.
And connecting that preservation to the ancient past, we had that wonderful, almost mythical story of the Westmeath farmer.
I love this story.
This individual identified the location of Bronze Age axe heads that were sent anonymously to the National Museum.
The anonymous part is what gets me. It suggests this inherent understanding and respect for the land's history without any need for personal fame.
It's like they see themselves as custodians first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it also prompted a national discussion that led to new measures being introduced to protect Ireland's historic and archaeological heritage more broadly. So it had a ripple effect.
Now let's focus on the legislative landscape, because this directly impacts future generations across the whole island. We have to report on the UK Supreme Court ruling regarding public schools in Northern Ireland.
This ruling is a fundamental break from a long-standing tradition. It's a big deal.
So what's the core change?
The UK Supreme Court has ruled that public schools in Northern Ireland must now include the study of faiths other than Christianity in their religious education curriculum.
That's not just a policy adjustment, is it? That fundamentally alters the legal framework of religious instruction in the North.
It does. Historically, religious education in Northern Ireland was, overwhelmingly dominated by solely Christian instruction.
Reflecting the demographics and political structures of the past.
Exactly. This ruling forces schools to actively broaden their religious and cultural perspective. It's a legal push toward recognizing and teaching religious plurality.
Which is crucial for fostering future intercommunity understanding in a society that's becoming more and more diverse.
That's the main implication, yes.
Yeah.
It's a seismic shift in how cultural identity will be framed for young people.
Now, moving to social planning, we saw two very different but equally important social data points in the sources.
Right. First, the positive development. The opening of a new dementia center in Birmingham that specifically focuses on Irish culture.
And that's so important because using familiar cultural touchpoints, music, stories, language, can be incredibly effective in treating and comforting those with memory loss.
It's a very targeted, very compassionate approach.
And the second point, which is a bit more sobering, is the demographic shift.
The birth rate.
Yeah.
Ireland's birth rate has dropped by a significant 20% over the last 11 years.
A 20% drop in just over a decade is not just a statistic. I mean, that has huge implications.
Oh, absolutely. Here's the long-term strain on social systems. Fewer people entering the workforce means higher dependency ratios.
Challenges in funding pensions, healthcare.
All of it. Increased pressure on services. This kind of drop requires serious, forward-looking policy adjustments around infrastructure, housing, maybe even immigration strategy to maintain economic growth.
Okay, just a few final nuggets from the sources that provide some interesting color to the broader context before we wrap up.
Go for it.
On the awards front, former Congressman Joe Crowley received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2025 Irish Central Legal Elite Awards.
Right. And then there was the celebrity news that just adds that unique flavor to the news cycle.
Indeed. UFC fighter Conor McGregor, during his trauma treatment in Mexico, claimed that he was visited by God.
A surprising, very personal detail to round out a week filled with everything from ancient history to Supreme Court rulings.
It certainly is.
The overall picture we've extracted, I think, shows a culture that's thriving in transition. You have ancient sites like Grace Hill gaining necessary global recognition alongside new genres.
Like kneecap.
Using music to address these incredibly high-stakes political controversies. It's an island that is constantly reevaluating both its foundations and its future.
We've definitely seen the blending of the familiar and the radically new, from the strategic positioning of the House of Guinness drama being compared to Succession, to the philosophical challenge posed by Citrant Socrates. This is a culture that is preserving its past while confronting modern complexities head-on.
Which leads us to one final thought for you to mull over.
Okay.
Given the legal push to broaden religious education in Northern Ireland schools and the high hopes placed on political leadership for an Irish language revival in the South, what role will educational institutions North and South play in actively shaping and integrating the increasingly diverse cultural identity of the entire island over the next decade?
That's it for this episode of My Irish Radio, Music and Culture News. Thanks for joining us. And remember, you can hear the best in Irish and Celtic music 24 hours a day at myirishradio.com. If you ever dreamed of sharing your favorite tunes and stories, now's your chance. Become one of the hosts. Host your own show right here on My Irish Radio. Just send us an email. It's easy as that. myirishradio@gmail.com. Until next time, it's Jamie Flanagan. Keep the music playing and keep Ireland in your heart.